What's going on, guys? Phantasm Mask here, bringing you some Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and I haven't put any up since the most recent Retaliation DLC has been dropped, and I figured that I would give a class review for probably one of the biggest classes that I hear about from this latest piece of DLC, and that is the Volus Adept. And I want to go on ahead and forewarn you that I am playing this on Bronze with the Volus because, and I'll elaborate a little bit more on why I think this a little bit later, but I just do not feel comfortable playing as the Volus Adept, so I backed it down to Bronze. I joined this match a little bit late, so got a little bit of a head start. But with the Retaliation DLC, we see a whole bunch, complete multiplayer overhaul, which I'm going to talk about more of the specifics of the multiplayer overhaul in another video. This is mostly about the Volus Adept. Now, the abilities that come with the Volus Adept, or as I named him, Tubs McQuaid, and as for anybody who named their Volus Adept Biotic God, you guys have to let that poor joke go. That's all I ever hear about when I see a Volus Adept, is the whole Biotic God joke. It got really old really fast. You guys ruined a great joke in Mass Effect 2, in my opinion. Anyway, the powers that come with the Volus Adept, you've got Stasis, you've got a new power called Biotic Orbs, which you see right there before I die, and the Biotic Orbs are a power that I've really, if they were put on anything other than a Volus, I think many people would consider overpowered. These orbs flow around you, you can throw them at targets. They also reduce the recharge speed of all of your powers, depending on how many orbs you have surrounding you. The orbs are also highly effective against armor and barriers. The only problem I really have with Biotic Orbs is that I notice there is this huge delay between when I hit the bumper to use the power before it launches. There's this giant delay, it's extremely noticeable. I hope that's something that BioWare will fix somewhere down the line. And it's one of the major drawbacks and one of the reasons why I really don't like using the Volus Adept too much. But there's a whole bunch of other things that go into factoring with the Volus Adept. Number one, the Volus classes, both the Adept and the Engineer, are not meant for straight-up fights. And that's what I'm doing in this match. That was my mistake. My first match playing as the Volus Adept, I'm noticing that this is more of a support character. This is a character that's not meant to go out onto the front lines and just start shooting anything that moves. Which segues into his next power, the Shield Boost. Shield Boost is probably one of the best powers ever. This is such a useful power when you're playing on Gold or Platinum. You have a Volus in your squad who's got Shield Boost maxed out. They are one of the best characters on the field. Shield Boost will repair your shields and those of nearby allies, and then after giving that initial boost, it will also help with the recovery time of your shields. So it really helps out. And I'm glad that Mass Effect is trying to explore more of a support role with their classes, but I don't really think that we have... I don't really think the style of gameplay for Mass Effect Co-op really tailors towards support characters. It seems like characters which are able to do the most amount of damage the fastest are heavily rewarded in this game. And, you know, your support characters, your healers, medics, and stuff like that really they're not that good. Which, I'm glad that they're trying to go into the whole medic class thing with the Volus Adept, with the shield boost thing. But I think that maybe actually having like a soldier medic or something like that, a human soldier medic, which focuses on boosting shields, but has a lower weapon damage and maybe a higher encumbrance rating, would probably work better than having a Volus. From my understanding, the entire reason why Volus classes are even in Mass Effect Co-op is because it's a joke. And that's how I kind of treat the Volus classes, is that they're a bit of a joke. Nobody would really expect a Volus to jump out onto the battlefield in this universe to start doing all of this crazy stuff. Then you have your passive powers, your Volus training, which boost power, weapon, and damage, and all of this, and your fitness ratings, your passive abilities. Stasis is stasis. It's nothing really new there. What I did find interesting with the Volus, when I found out that they were going to be in this Retaliation DLC, I wanted to know how a Volus would melee. And the answer to that is that they don't melee. Instead, they have something really cool. If you just do a light melee attack with the Volus, he'll cloak for a few seconds, allowing you to get away if you're swarmed by enemies, which is an awesome power. Really like that. And then if you heavy melee, he throws down this giant proximity shield, similar to the way that the Geths had the melee, except that the shield does not get bigger. So it's a really... The Adept sounds really cool, but I just do not feel comfortable playing it. I feel like anytime that I want to play as the Volus Adept, I need to back down the difficulty because he has no health, he has very little shields, but he also has powers which could really benefit him. The Biotic Orbs have a bit of a delay with throwing them, and it's just... This is not a class to be dealing damage with. I'm going to treat this as almost an Easter egg class or something like that. This is a class that I can't really see anybody taking seriously. As for the Engineer, I don't know. I just recently unlocked the Engineer. I haven't really played as him yet, but I believe he has a proximity mine, a recon mine, and I can't remember what his other power is. I'll get back to you on that with my review of the Volus Engineer. But in the end, if you're looking for a powerful Adept class, I believe you would be better off playing as the N7 Fury. In my opinion, the N7 Fury is probably the best biotic class you can get in this game. Insane, chaining all of these biotic explosions. It just really is devastating. And that goes back to my previous point, which Mass Effect Co-op is not really built for support characters. It's built for characters that deal as much damage as possible the fastest. As for what enemy types the Volus excels at, I've played against Cerberus Collectors and Geth, as you can see on the screen right now, with the Adept. I have not played against Reaper Forces with the Volus Adept, so I haven't tried that, and I find that he works a lot better against Cerberus. Biotics usually do work well against Cerberus, but Cerberus recently introduced the Dragoon class, which can really screw things up if you're hiding in cover, and can send the little tubby Volus flying off of the map. Not really, but the Dragoon is an awesome addition to the Cerberus roster of enemies. Really changes things up a bit. As for the Geth Bomber, I know why it was created, and I think BioWare really wasn't necessary, but I'm going a little off topic here. The Volus Adept, in the end, should just be used for fun. It's not meant to, if you're trying to play on gold and platinum difficulties, I would recommend against using the Volus Adept, unless you only want to play pure support. If your team really needs the shields, like if your team is mostly using a bunch of biotics or adepts, and they don't have a way to easily recharge their shields, if you got a couple of N7 destroyers in there, you've got maybe some N7 Furies, and they really need that shield boost, then I could see using that in a gold or platinum match. Other than that, if you're just playing with randoms, I can't recommend you playing the Volus Adept on gold or platinum. So in the end, I like that BioWare is trying to change things up a bit, but they need to change, not the characters, they need to change the way that the game is played in order to better fit the Volus Adept. So in the end, I really can't recommend the Volus Adept to that many people unless you are desperate for a shield booster. Other than that, I would recommend just using a Demolisher and a supply pylon and camping somewhere. That, to me, seems a lot easier than sacrificing a lot of weapon damage, shields, and health, and being able to benefit your team by constantly replenishing ammo. So, in the end, I can't recommend the Volus Adept. I hope you guys enjoyed this sort of lackluster gameplay, but these are just my thoughts on the Volus Adept. Of course, I welcome any comments which could give me a better strategy on using him. For all I know, I could be using him completely wrong. He could be meant for something completely different. there's always that possibility that I'm just not playing the Volus Adept correctly. So for those of you out there who have an awesome strategy for the Volus Adept, I really want to hear it. I am eager to try to get some Volus Adept gameplay, and I just really can't justify doing that if I don't enjoy playing the class, and if I think I'm doing if I'm doing something wrong, but I think I'm doing something right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a comment below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, well, thumbs down it and tell me why. Really do like to hear reasons why people don't like my videos. So, Phantasm Mask here, signing out, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this gameplay.